Buenos dias, Gunners Collective TV. Back at it? You already know. Like a torta with some bad habits. Bye up, bye up. Let's get straight to that intro. Welcome back to the channel. And if you haven't already hit that like and subscribe button, make sure you go ahead and do that. Put your notification bell on all so that way you're directed in the direction of the dope content that I stay kicking. And I appreciate your support, man. I'm very humbled by it. I'm back. Let's go. It's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without some collective type of fucking content to step two, step two, right? We're back. Look, I keep getting asked this question over and over again in my DMs by dudes from Vario Playboys, right? It doesn't matter where their neighborhood is. Playboys is well represented, man. Shout out to the Playboys. Them motherfuckers put in work. See, there were certain Varios when I was locked up in the youth authority and even in prison that I can't necessarily say I feared, but I was aware of, right? And Playboys definitely made you aware. They were representing to the fullest, and this predates all the Northern Riders with the Playboys and any other group or gang that started to get a Playboy to symbolize their cause, right? The Playboys out of Los Angeles were the first ones to do it, and they have been doing it, right? And so my interaction with the Playboys was always good to a certain point. And let me explain to you a little bit of the backstory on what this video and this content is about, because I keep getting asked this question over and over again. And I've told the story in the past, but people want more details. What happened? Why necessarily did this guy target you? Well, I'll tell you why I was targeted. Because I was a young Norteño that was striving, that was not willing to give up the ghost. I wasn't willing to tap out like fucking Conor McGregor. What the fuck? I wasn't giving up. Okay? I was on my Goonie shit. Hey, you guys, look what I am, a Norteño. And for that, I suffered the consequences severely. But let me explain to you what happened that day as I recollect it. So at this point, while serving time in Fred C. Nellis, yes, I was in Fred C. Nellis in Whittier on Whittier Boulevard, right? While serving time there, I had already encountered dudes from every different barrio you could think of in Southern California. And I've always said the two gangs or two groups that gave us the most, I guess, they gave us the most, they did the most damage, right? They gave us the most drama. They were the oppositions that we most were keenly aware of. Was anyone out of the 805 area, Bakers, back in the days before it was 661 or whatever it is now, it was Bakers, Santa Ruta, Santa Maria, Wasco, all that area, right? Them guys were fucking with the activities. They hated Norteños and they let it be known, right? So they gave us fits. Anytime someone from Bakers pulled up, and there was a lot of them guys, they had the biggest ranfla, it seemed like, even bigger than LA. It was crazy, right? LA was broken all up. Bakers was together. But anyways, the 805 and then South Los. South Los were just some dangerous fucking individuals. I don't know what they drank, what kind of water was given to them, but that shit had electrolytes. They were electricity on the yard, man. Every time a dude from South Los came in, he made it a priority to get at a Northerner in a vicious fashion. So them dudes from South Los were definitely targets. Like, hey, if you see a dude from South Los, be aware they're going to represent to the fullest. I don't know why. Maybe you guys could explain that to me, but that's just the way it was. So I had encountered dudes from every barrio, and I could say this: Playboys were represented well. They were deep, and it didn't seem like they were okay. It didn't seem like they were posing a threat to us. They were more focused on their enemigos, Florencia and 18th Street, right? So every time a dude from Playboys landed, because 18 was always deep, Florencia was pretty deep too. Playboys wasn't as deep as those two groups. But it seemed like anytime one of them landed on Compa Playboys, he was getting down with the 18th Streeters, the Florenciano. Like it just was up all the time, on site, mandatory, right? These guys were getting at each other. School area, didn't matter where. They had beef until that Playboy represented and everyone knew, okay, he was about his business. Then dudes kind of took a step back and it was what it was. New dudes would come and it would just start all over. But that's pretty much how it went. It was different for the Southerners. Being in Norteño and watching the Southerners function and program, they had to get down with their enemies. It wasn't just us. It wasn't just the Crips. It wasn't just the Blacks. It wasn't just none of that. It was each other. the blue on blue was real. It was pretty prevalent, especially in a place like Fred C. Nellis where everything was predicated on gang banging, right? Street gang banging. People lost lives, family members, homeboys. And so you'd see the dude that actually took your homeboy's life or was involved in it, and they just get off, man. So my interaction with the Playboys was this. This is what happened. This is what put the target on my back necessarily, right? More so than just being in Norteño, the Playboys had an extra for the gun, right? And this is what it was. So I landed on a compa called Kennedy. Okay, I went from Truman, which was the reception in Nellis. We were there for like a month, maybe a month and a week. And then I went to Cleveland, which is where they were housing all the Norteños at that time. Then they got a fucking bright idea. They decided that those of us that had a drug program, they were going to put us, there was 2 drug facilities there. One was Madison, which I ultimately ended up going to, and that's where I did most of my time in Nellis, and Kennedy. Kennedy was like the younger knuckleheads, just the idiots, right? And of course, I fit that category, so that's where they put me. So they sent 10 of us over there, and I'm not going to say, I'm going to tell you guys the truth. They sent 10 raggedy ass motherfuckers over there, me included, the Muppets. They sent the Norteño Muppets over there, right? I was one of those motherfuckers. At least I had the decency to fucking catch a fade. It was myself and maybe a couple homeboys from Sanjo that were really with the program. Homeboy from San Fran too. The rest, puro caca, right? They sent us over there with the Island Boys, straight up. It was like D. Kane, the Island Boys, Wes Watson, and a whole bunch of fucking supporters of theirs, right? It was just bad. And so when we got there, of course, riots kick off. Things have to be established before, and we're getting our asses kicked, man. We didn't stand a chance. They said, like I said, they sent a whole bunch of fucking Fraggles to Fraggle Rock, right? It was bad. So by the time everything was said and done, and we were ready to program and function on that building, at that building on the compa, and we had went through some hell, right? So we were a shell of ourselves. We got there as a turtle and ended up just a shell. It was bad, right? So I remember my first thing with the Playboy was this. There was a dude named Bugsy. He was kind of tall, probably about 15, 16 years old. I'm 12, 13. I'm about 13 years old at the time, right? And so I'm a young, skinny, ugly looking motherfucker, right? And this dude was tall, skinny, and uglier than me. And so I had never got down in the bliñas. Didn't even know what the bliñas were. It was always on site in the open, just get off, just fight. It was what it was. That's what I was used to. I wasn't aware that you can go hide and fight and get away with it and shit, right? I wasn't aware of that. Well, there was a particular YC on that compa. His name was Radio. Orale Radio. Radio. He was from New Orleans. I'll never forget him. My brother, man. Those that were in Nellis, they'll remember Radio. He was just a cool cat. He gave us the whole rundown like, look, if you guys are going to fight, if you guys are going to do your thing, just don't let me see it. Handle your business like men. And I don't want to do no write-ups. And Radio. He used to always say everything was going to be good. And so this was a cool cat, man. He used to drop frajos on the ground. He used to make sure everyone ate. If you didn't have a sopa, he'll throw you a sopa. Like, he was just a cool cat. And so knowing that he was willing to let us fight, I thought, shit, we could have a riot in plain sight, and he was just going to turn the other cheek. I didn't understand what he meant was go in the blinds, go in the latrine area, go in the back of the dorm. There were certain spots, go in the shower area, in a closet, and just grab each other's head and just sock each other. Like, it was really that serious, right? Hey, get on your knees by the fucking short wall and just chunk them. Like, there was a lot of different bliñas. It wasn't necessarily just behind the handball court like a lot of people talk about. But this particular day with this Playboy, it was going to be. So this was our first yard after our riot, right? And we had went on to a thing called a freeze for a while. And for like a month, they fed us 2 cheese sandwiches and an ice cold milk 3 times a day till you couldn't shit no more, right? It was bad. Eventually, and this was the whole compound. This was blacks, whites, browns, everybody. And so everybody was aggravated and frustrated with North and South because we just continued to riot. We just continued to get off. It's what we were told to do. It's what we did, right? So eventually we even got tired of the shit. So we all had a conversation. It was like, look, we'll just handle our business bolo. We won't, no more riots and none of that shit. Save that for the school area. It is what it is. Cool, right? So it was our first day out on the yard. Radio did his little speech in the day room. You guys do what you do, and it is what it is. There was a couple other COs that were black dudes. One of them was from 60s. He was a 60s Crip. I'll never forget. He was like, oh, 6-0, handle your business. Okay, shit, cuz, right? Rolling. We were about to do it. So we all line up on this brick wall, which is the building, right? And then they'll blow the whistle, and that means yards released. And then what you would do, I guess, is run, because the handball court was facing the opposite side. It was actually facing the Taft building, which was a lockup unit, the box, right? in that particular compa. And so you'd run behind the handball court and chunk them, handle your business for a good 2-3 minutes, get it off your system, and then bam, you did the one-on-one. That's good. I wasn't aware of that at this point, right? I was aware of just fucking turn around and just take flight. So, anyways, being that I'm on this new unit, I was strapped up. So let me explain to you. When I got there, I was already strapped up. I had me a piece, right? So the piece that I had, they had these bed springs, all these bed springs. And if you looked at the beds for the top bunks, they were all tied together with t-shirt and shit because motherfuckers was taking that weapon stock, straightening those bed springs out. And it was a good ice pick. It was a nice little pico de gallo, right? It was perfect. So I made sure I had me one, a crude ass one. It was all weirded out, right? Couldn't straighten it straight enough, but it was going to do the job. And so I had that on me at all times. Like, hey, if these fools run up on me, because there were some big cats there. We're talking about dudes age 13 all the way to 24, right? They're fucking big old monsters. And so I'm thinking, man, if one of these big motherfuckers runs up, I'm going to have to put something in them straight up. And I ain't talking about the shit that Cat Williams had in him in the bathroom on Friday after next. Like, I'm going to really do something with this fucking weapon stock. So I'm kicking back, and this dude from Playboys comes walking up, right? And he's like, now, let me explain to you a little backstory on that. Prior to the name Gunner and Skinner, I used to be called Skinny Boy. I know what you're saying. Damn, how many fucking names you have, Esse? Well, that was about it. So they called me Skinny Boy because I was very thin, very flaco, right? Very skinny, ugly and skinny. And so the homeboys called me Skinny Boy. So when I went to YA, that's what I introduced myself as, Skinny Boy from Merced. Everyone's like, oh, okay. I didn't necessarily have a plaquiazo on the streets. I was just me, right? But the homeboy started calling me Skinny Boy in juvenile hall, and I was fighting my case and whatever, right? So I ran with that. So all through NRCC, and when I got to Nellis, I was Skinny Boy. A lot of the old school homeboys, even prior to Skinner, know me as Skinny Boy. This is how I got the name Skinner, right? So I have the piece on me. Like, I see all these Southsiders are walking up to like Northerners, like getting next to us. So you couldn't walk up because fucking they hadn't released yard yet, but they're like getting next to us against this wall. And this dude from Playboy, he's tall, right? He's like, hey, Skinny Boy. I'm like, what's up? He was like, yeah, hey, homie, when the whistle goes off, run behind the handball court. It's me and you, right? He's letting me know, like, we're gonna fight. So I'm like, all right, cool, shit, fuck it. So mind you, no one has ran me down. I didn't get no clecha. No one's telling me, oh, the bliñas are like this. You go catch the one-on-one fade, and we didn't have time for that. We're too busy fighting all the time. There was none of that bliñas. Now I shouldn't have been stupid to not know, but to me, a Southsider wants to fight me. He's the enemigo. He's probably going to do harsh things to me. I'm going to do him right back. I'm going to try to pregame on him, right? I'm going to try to tailgate this motherfucker real quick. And so that's just my philosophy, the way I thought at that time. I was young, stupid, and fuck it, right? They're trying to kill me. Let's go. So I remember that dude blowing the whistle and turning around and walking the opposite direction because he knew fools were going to run. There was a dude named Crow from 18. He ran behind there. And my boy Puerco, I believe it was Puerco from Sanjo, he ran behind there too. They start chunking him, right? So I run behind there, and it's like a 2-on-2, I guess, right? Now, mind you, I don't know what this dude has on him. I don't know, like, what this is supposed to be, just a fair fight. Like, I didn't believe in that shit. Like, I didn't understand that fair fight. And, hey, if he fucking falls, let him get up. Nah, fuck that. Why, get up to kick my ass? Nah, man, I was the best fighter in the world, man. I ain't gonna lie. I wasn't even average. I was just me, right? I was willing to fight, though. And that right there means more than anything. So I ran back in that motherfucker. Look, this dude did exactly what I knew he was going to do. This motherfucker put his tall ass head down and swung for the fences. And when he did, I reached back like a pimp and slapped the house, right? I grabbed my little thing, my little crude made thing, and I just got him in the head. When I poked it in the back of his shit right here, right? That motherfucker, hey, he jumped like a cat. Ah! And his skin, this whole shit, caught him to about right here. He was leaking everywhere, right? I'm like, what's up, Benny? I was all S-ed out. What's up, Bessie? Right? He was like, fuck you, Buster. Right? He was all pissed. The other dude stopped fighting and shit. Everyone's looking like, what the fuck? This is a murder. I proceeded to chase him around the yard. He took off running to the fucking basketball courts. The Crips was like, damn, cuz, S.A. got a knife. S.A. got a knife. I was like, and they got a knife, right? So anyways, they tackled me, bam, put me in the oil, right? Luckily, I was able to throw the thing, but they knew I used a foreign object. What happened? I said, my knuckles are sharp, right? So anyways, they take me to the hole, take him to the infirmary. Riot kicks off while I'm gone, right? Over that shit. So homeboys coming in the oil. They're like, damn, for why you stab that motherfucker, bro? I said, well, why not? Shit, they was going to get me, so I had to get it. He said, nah, bro, it's supposed to be a fight. I said, oh, is that what it was supposed to be? Well, shit, that's the way I fight, eh? Right? He's like, yeah, fuck. So the homies were like, hey, your name's not Skinny Boy anymore. It's Skinner, homie. You skinned the fuck out of that fool's head. That fool's got a track mark on his head. She looks like a fucking holster. He said he got a holster on his head. So from that point on, the Playboys didn't like me, I guess. They were upset with me. So it was all point bulletin on Skinner, the skinny kid with the crude knife, right? So anytime I went to the school area, if there was a dude from Playboys, once they identified me, I was getting jumped. I got skinned a couple times, right? I was getting battery packed. Like a lot of bad things was happening. It was an everyday thing. It was consistent. I'm going to be doing a video on it, how consistent it was. It was pretty consistent, right? Wasn't like these cats were just letting us walk around and do what we wanted to do. Fuck no, we were paying our fucking ticket, eh? Right? That's just it. So the day they got me. So I was always aware if I seen a dude with a Playboy, I heard, or someone would tell me like, hey, there's a fool from Playboys. And look, believe it or not, I hate to say it, but this is the truth. A lot of the times the Southsiders, other Southerners that didn't get along with the Playboys was giving me the heads up. They'd be like, hey, there's a new fucking Playboy. He's a fucking this. Woo, woo, woo. So there was a compa, I believe it was called Washington or Hayes. I forget which one. And there was a Playboy there. And he was a black dude. His name was Casper. He was from East Side Playboys, right? And I had seen him in passing, but he never noticed me. And he was pretty he was a light-skinned black dude, kind of rocked up, like had little muscles. He looked like Jack 5, only a little thinner, right? If you know who Jack 5 is from the Hoovers, right? So anyways, I see this cat from a distance, like, okay, he's going to be a threat, man. Damn, I'm going to have to hit him in the head with a rock hard, right? So this particular day, what had happened was they had been diverting us from the bin. So the bin, you might hear a lot of people that were in Ellis talk about the bin. The bin was no man's land. The bin was over to see. The bin was fuck you. You're going to get bent up. The bin was you would walk down like this hallway. It looked like it was outside though. And you'd have to go around behind the school area, behind these classes to get to your classes. And that's where a lot of shit went down. A lot of dudes got stabbed, a lot of fights. Like, it was just bad. It was an everyday thing. You just walk by fools just chunking them, right? And as a Norteño, that's the last place you wanted to go, behind the bin, right? Because that was where dudes would take advantage. They know you're bolo, you're walking solo, maybe one or two of you guys, and they just get off, right? So we'd all try to wait in the quad area to, even if the homeboys didn't have classes in the back, like, we got to walk together, bro, to hold it down. And so this day, no one to hold it down with, right? Now, they had diverted us from walking the bin for like a month because they were doing some construction on the gym. The gym was in the back. I never went to the fucking gym. I don't even know where they had it, right? But they were doing some framing and construction. Well, what I didn't know was these Southsiders, they had dug up some of the 2x4s, right? From the framing that was going on. Smart motherfuckers, right? I wish I'd have got to it first. I'd have 2x4. I'd have hacksaw Jim Duggan the shit out of fucking one of them cats. But they had it prepared, ready. It was loose, like already ready to go. And this dude from Playboys waited, right? So I'm mobbing. And I'm thinking, hey, ain't no one going to get me, man. These fools, they slipping, right? I thought I was bad. Like, and I didn't even trip. There was a gang of Southerners. None of them are looking back at me. They're not tripping, which was surprising. I should have seen it coming, right? But I didn't. And as I'm walking, I'm just mobbing, like, fool, I'm almost to the end of the bin. You can see, like, you just bend one more corner. There was Mr. Newman's class. No one ever did anything in front of Mr. Newman's class because it was like, he's the gang coordinator. And that motherfucker was like, dude, he's a black dude. He's watching everybody. He's trying to lock some people up, right? So you'd get to his class and it was like, good. After that, you're smooth, right? And I'm walking, this black dude, I'll never forget. He walked up to me. He was like, what's up, Northerner? And I mean, that was the first time he ever really hearing the word Northerner, right? And I was like, what's up? His name was Young Deg from PJ Watts. Later on, I told stories about that cat. Later on, he would use the Young Northerners all the time and we'd get upset. But anyways, he was like, what's up, Northerner? I'm like, what's up, Deg? And when I did that, when I looked at him, he tried to give me the, you know what I'm saying? The winky wink. Like, hey, motherfucker, watch out. This motherfucker, Casper from Playboys, grabbed this board and proceeded to do plastic surgery on my head. Boom! All I remember, I seen the stars like, Norte, Surge. And I fell down. This motherfucker hit me like 2 more times with that board. I felt it. He woke my ass up, right? Boom, boom. I was done. Head looked like the Elephant Man. I was lumped up. Smacked me, right? Fool was like, that's for my homeboy Bugsy, yes, sir. He was a black dude, too. I was like, all right, cuz. Hey, other Southerners were walking by, kicking me, stopping me, man. They fucked me up, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I was scared to go behind that bin anymore. Hey, class started. I was still back that motherfucker like, right? Hey, Mr. Newman said, what the hell are you doing on the ground? Get your ass to class, motherfucker. Do I look like I can get myself to earth, motherfucker, right now, right? Anyways, they got me. After that, man, I seen Playboy, Bugsy, or not Bugsy, but excuse me, Casper, and I was like, man, I'm going to get him. But this motherfucker was always surrounded. And I remember one time I tried to take flight. I took off running. I got ping, 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 ping. I didn't even make it to him. Motherfucker kicked me in the face. Was like, get out of here, Buster. I was like, oh shit. So I never was able to get my run backs. Eventually, over time, man, that dude ended up going somewhere, and I just never ran into him again. But yeah, them fools. After that, I guess they felt like they got me. So the Playboys wasn't really tripping off me anymore. But man, did they get me in that school area, man. I'll never forget. There's dudes that run around this content creation shit from the prison genre talking about, oh man, I was beating fools up. Nah, bro, keep it real. That motherfuckers fucked me up. Anyways, there's a story in its entirety. That's exactly what happened, why it happened, and how it happened, and how I got the name Skinner, man. Gunner is later on. I'll give you that whole rundown, those that don't know. Anyways, with that being said, thumbs up or thumbs down. Heavy's going to be the head that wears the crown. I'm going to continue to strive for what I honestly and truly believe in, and that's the betterment of all people. I don't tell these stories to glorify gangbanging. I tell them because they're the truth and just is what it is, and that's why I don't gangbang no more, because I like my head intact. It just is what it is, man. I don't want my kids to say, damn, Dad, what happened to your head? Oh, some fool from Playboys fucked me up. Right? No, I don't want to do that. This video is sponsored by Barrio Liquors in Turlock, California. If you're ever in the Turlock area, pull up to the Barrio and get you something cold to drink. Award-winning #1 liquor store in the Central Valley. Also by Sticks and Stones Yard Service in Tucson, Arizona. If you're in the Tucson area, you just moved there and you need some yard work done, you need an estimate, make sure you Google Sticks and Stones Yard Service. He got you. We need to support our small